So I know I've done a video on this place once before, but I think the last video I did wasn't very clear about what it was that I was filming. So I'm gonna visit it today and kind of re-explore it. Whenever you do like any sort of research on quarries, it always comes down to a few things, which is that they're closed because people keep dying in them. So I did a little research to figure out why. How are people dying so commonly? I mean, I know they're dangerous cliffs, but what specifically? But firstly, and most obviously, people go to quarries or have traditionally to swim because they're filled with water and there's high jumping points. So they're full of like sharp rocks. There's, you know, just a lot of general danger when you're jumping 70 feet off of a unregulated cliff. But that's not really what kills people. What kills people is when they hit the water. Because what happens is when your body hits very cold water, it has this immediate priority reaction to send all of your energy into keeping your body warm. And that includes priority over things like breathing and consciousness. So what happens is a lot of people hit the water and they pass out. And that pretty much causes them to drown. But the reason that this water is so cold is not what you're thinking. Even in the heat of summer, this can happen to people. And it's for a reason that's really specific and unique to the way that we mine rock. Now, even though nobody should be swimming in this quarry, quarries like this one were dug so deep that they actually went underneath the water table. So there was lots of natural groundwater that was unaffected by the summer sun or any of that would pour into the hole. The groundwater that would pour in would slowly fill up the quarry. So they had giant pumps that would actively pump the water out of the quarry. But when those quarries were shut down and these pumps were turned off, they slowly filled with freezing cold water. Now, the vast majority of these quarries throughout New England have either been privatized, filled in, or just lawfully off limits because they're a bit of a legal nuisance. They're usually bright blue because most of the waters have a very low pH level because of the sediment that's found in them, so it doesn't allow any bacteria to grow. And this one is particularly older than some of the other ones you'll see. This quarry probably was stopped being in use around the 1915 to 1920 would be my guess, but I don't know, you'll have to look that up. There's a couple things that I find particularly interesting about this location, and one of them is this old remnant of what was called a plug and feather method. So you'll often see these little divots in rocks, and what that was from was this. They would drive a wedged piece of metal, and then they would drive a stake through it and pound it along the edges until it drove the rocks through the part. Usually they would do this in a already natural fissure in the rock, but it would pretty much just force it from each other and use its weight to fall. But then to pull it out is the other thing that's still standing here. The ballast that they used to lift the extremely heavy stones out of the hole were anchored just by these 3 different trees. Except full disclosure, this one's not a tree, this is a big bolt in the ground.